So this is one of my favourite things in 3D printing and engineering and making prototypes, and is known as a brass insert, and it's actually just this thing, hard to show, which is basically also known as a knurled insert or threaded insert, and it's called that because threading is the action of putting the thread from a bolt into a sort of retaining unit like this. So you can see it screws all the way in, and you can either put these in industrially, they'd be put in probably with like an ultrasonic horn or a special jig that would push them in, but for the sort of DIY prototyper, I tend to pick a screw that is reasonably long, and then apply heat to it. And so I'm just going to do this in real time, and so I'm rotating it, as you can see, and I notice as soon as it makes ever so slightest change of colour, I know that that's just at the right temperature. And then what this allows me to do is then take this and pop it into the surface like so. You press it in, you can see it's just sinking in nicely, and then the key is to just check that it's nice and perpendicular, 90 degrees, and unscrew it. Helps if I actually just use the appropriate tool there as well. It's just an Allen key for this, or a hex key, and then so that means you've now got it perfectly set in there. And if you've got any sort of little bleed that comes out over the top, where it just squirts out, just very quickly run over the scalpel, and it's completely flush. And so that means that you could screw anything into this very, very easily, just like that. And what's great about this is that if you use a self-tapping screw and you're putting things in together and taking them apart repeatedly, you end up what's called stripping the thread, so that the hole that you've made ends up getting really worn out and it doesn't hold as well. Also, you can put considerably more force on things using these brass inserts, and indeed you can make the backing of them a little bit tighter so that even it locks it. The tip I would sort of give if you're very new to thinking, well, what size do you dimension these things to? So this is an M3 brass insert, and you take your calipers and you'd measure just not the knurled bit, not the sort of rough sort of little crisscross part, but the collar, which is nice and smooth. It's a little hard to zoom in there, and that ends up being just about 4mm. And so if you make your whole 4mm in CAD, usually what happens is 3D prints, tolerance come in a bit chunky, and so then I just get a power drill with a 4mm drill bit, drill the hole out to make sure it's nice and clean, and then these go in absolutely perfect. One of the things I've done is I've been doing this project so much, and you can see this project, for example, is absolutely full of screws. All of those have brass inserts behind them. I actually made myself a little tool which is taking a bit of threaded bar. This stuff, very, very cheap, readily available, and I just found some little pieces of ABS plastic, and I also put a magnet on the end so that I can grab things when I inevitably drop them in a little nook or cranny. So this is a really nice thing, and also, as you can appreciate, if this gets really hot because you've been doing maybe 20 in one sitting, the heat is dissipated so it doesn't burn your fingers as well. The other nice thing is you get better accuracy in that you can tell whether you've put things on a funny angle, because this accentuates the accuracy. So I hope that's useful. Brass inserts. Go try some.